Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Well, we have a new lesson about relative clauses. First of all, let's revise relative pronouns. As you see here, we have who or whom. We use them for people. Okay, they can be who plus subject, it's object pronoun that, or it can be plus verb and subject pronoun that. Here, when we have objects pronoun, it's unnecessary. We can say, the man I met last year was dead, was killed. Okay, so here, whose, something of someone, it's possessive. We say, the car whose color is pink is mine, for example. Where, it's place, where plus subjects, a verb of place. You say, the school where I work has been painted in red. Okay, which, things and objects. We have which plus subjects, object pronoun that. Okay, or which are things and objects, it's object pronoun which plus verb. We can have two types. And of course we have when, it's exactly like where, and we have why, it's okay. They are the same rule which applies to them all. Now please hear a very simple exercise. You fill in the blanks with right relative pronoun. Okay, you have here the gaps here, you put relative pronoun necessary. Now we move to our new lesson today. As you see here, this person, you know him, we saw him before in the previous lesson. So he is Neil deGrasse, okay? Where is he from? He is American, and what's his job? He is a scientist. So look at the sentence. Neil deGrasse, who is an American physicist, is my favorite scientist. Okay, you have here two sentences. You have Neil deGrasse is my favorite scientist, and you have Neil deGrasse is an American physicist. So here we have replaced Neil deGrasse by who, and we put this sentence here. We add information here. Okay, so in one sentence, so this is who is an American physicist. It adds information about Neil deGrasse. We match the sentences together. And this is called relative clause. Who is an American physicist is a relative clause. What is a relative clause? Here, as you see, relative clause is a sentence starting with a relative pronoun. This is the relative pronoun. What does it do, this sentence? It adds extra information. Sometimes the information is necessary for the meaning, and sometimes it's unnecessary. We're going to see this. Okay, so I'll repeat. The relative pronouns, it's this one. It starts with a relative pronoun here. We have who. And why do we use it? We use it generally to match two sentences, and we avoid repetition. We're not going to repeat. And we add information. We can say Neil deGrasse is my favorite scientist is okay, but we want to add more information. We say Neil deGrasse, who is an American scientist, is my favorite scientist. Okay? It's clear. Another example here, the high school where I study is Kindy. So you know here, this is the relative pronoun, where, and the relative clause is where I study. So here we have two sentences. The high school is called Kindy. I study in the high school. So here we replace it by where. The high school where I study is called Kindy. Second one, July is the month when the weather is usually the hottest. So here the month, it's time. We replace it with when. July is the month when the weather is usually the hottest. So the weather is usually the hottest in July. So we omit this one and we connect sentences. And this is when the weather is usually the hottest is the relative clause. The last one, Facebook, which or that people use a lot in communication, can be used also in online teaching. So you have here the relative clause. It starts by which or with, that. So if we can put them separately, we have here Facebook can be used also in online teaching, or people use Facebook in communication. So we replace Facebook by the relative pronoun which or by that, and we have a long sentence where we have the relative clause which can be used in communication. So here you have a short, simple exercise. Fill in the blanks with the right relative clause. You have here 1 to 5, and you have here the relative clause A, B, C, D, E. You put the correct relative clause in the correct gap. Clear? It's easy. Now here we move to defining and non-defining relative clause. Now you understand relative clause. Let's take this example. Einstein, who was an excellent scientist, received Nobel Prize for Physics in 1981. Of course, here the relative clause, it's here. It starts by who, because it replaces Einstein. So do you know Einstein? So everybody knows Einstein, okay? So if we say Einstein received Nobel Prize for Physics in 1981, do you understand the sentence? Yes, the sentence is clear because we know Einstein. So this information, this relative clause, who was an excellent scientist, is it necessary for the meaning? So if we use the sentence without it, do we have a correct sentence, meaningful sentence? Yes. So we say who was an excellent scientist is non-defining. So the information which provides is not necessary for the meaning. Okay? So this is non-defining because the meaning is not necessary, the information is not necessary for the meaning. Let's see this example. John, who teaches us English literature, writes excellent poems. So the relative clause here is which teaches us English literature. And we have who here. So imagine we say John writes excellent poems. Which John are you speaking about? We don't know this John. Okay, is it John student, or is it John friend, or is it John teacher of Arabic or of mathematics? So here you add some information, you add relative clause. John, who teaches us English literature. Now here, this relative clause defines John. Okay? Writes excellent poems. So we say who teaches English literature is a defining relative clause. It means without the information, the meaning of the sentence is not complete. Okay? Clear? So this is the difference between defining and non-defining clause. And look here, notice here, when it's the relative clause is non-defining, it's between two commas. It means we can take it out, we can leave it out of the sentence, and we have correct sentence. We can say Einstein received Nobel Prize for Physics in 1980 or 21. Sentence is correct. When the relative clause is defining, it means it's necessary for the meaning. We don't have commas, it's one sentence. John, who teaches us English literature, writes excellent poems, it's one sentence. If we say John writes excellent poems, it's not correct. Okay? I think it's clear. So here is an exercise. You join the sentences with the right relative pronoun and decide whether the relative clause is defining or non-defining. It means you put commas. If the relative clause is non-defining, you put it between commas. If it's defining, you don't put commas. So here the book is mine, the book is on the table. You match the sentences. You have the book is repeated here. You omit the repetition and you write one sentence. And you go for all the sentences here. Please, you stop the video here and you do the exercise. Okay? You join sentences using the correct relative pronoun. Then you put commas. It means you decide whether the sentence relative clause is defining or non-defining, because you have the correction now. So here it is corrected here. Here, the book which is on the table is mine. It's defining. For example, you can't say the book is mine. Which book? Here you define the book. The book which is on the table is mine. The sentence is defining. Okay? Ramadan is a holy month. Why it's a holy month? Because Muslims fast. So here, when Muslims fast, we know Ramadan is a holy month. What do you want to say? When Muslims fast, we can put here comma, but generally it's defining. Here Najib Mahfoud won the Nobel Prize. It's correct. So here you add some information. Whose novels are translated into many languages? Here it's just extra information. It's not necessary for the meaning. So we put it between commas. Here, the man who died in the accident was my friend. If you say the man was my friend, which man you are speaking about? The man who died in the accident was my friend. And the others, as you see them, are done. Anyway, if you have any questions, please write them down in the comment section below, and I'm going to give you my further explanations. Well, take good care of yourself and see you soon. Bye-bye.